Greetings, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world watching this. You're either going to be watching this in one of two places. On my social media channels, my name Jean-Pierre de Villiers, otherwise known as JP by everyone that knows me, or Phuket, Shillong, Muay Thai and MMA gym. To share a little bit about me, I have been in the coaching and leadership and mastery game for pretty much all of my life. Although, to be honest, most of my life. When I was a kid, I was trying to figure out how do we live our best life. I grew up in Cape Town, South Africa. I didn't have the worst or the best life, but I had a life that was presented to me that I didn't really like. I didn't accept. It was something that I wanted to change, and I started to do that from the age of 10. I got my first job at 10, washing windows, and then it was doing a newspaper round, then it was pushing trolleys outside supermarkets to people's cars. By the age of 13, I was working every weekend and every school holiday in a fruits and vegetable market, just always committed to creating a better life for myself. And I have done that all of my life. It took me from Cape Town, South Africa to the UK, starting off in London. And then because I didn't have advisors, mentors, coaches in my life, I ended up following a passion of mine, which was music. It still is to this day, but it led me to Riga, Latvia, DJing on New Year's Eve and becoming really disconnected from myself. I'd looked successful on the outside, but I knew that decision by decision, I was getting my life wrong. And it led me back to, I was about 23. It led me back to about 10 years prior to that, when I was 13 years old, when my father, decision by decision, got his life wrong and ultimately took or made a decision to unalive himself and to make sure that he didn't feel any more pain anymore because his life was too unbearable. So I was 23 years old. I decided to make a decision to, if I could get to the UK on my own and make my life what it was, I could, decision by decision, try to redo my life and try to not get things wrong, but start to get things right. And I went on a journey of personal development, self-improvement, self-enrichment. And by the age of 25, 26, I had learned so much about habits, proximity. I'd learned about Tony Robbins, still the biggest or most well-known coach in the world. I studied sports psychology, philosophy, and I didn't do any of it because I wanted to be a partner of a gym, which I'll come to in a second, because I didn't want to coach, I didn't want to speak. I just wanted to save myself. That's the honest truth. I was living in London. I knew my life was heading in the wrong direction because I looked successful on the outside, but I felt empty on the inside. I felt disconnected from my truth, from my potential. And I was thinking, man, I shouldn't feel this way when I'm a rock star DJ, and becoming more so every month. Everything I've ever done in my life, I don't know why. I don't know why. It's not something that I've studied. It's just been something that has always been in me. Anything I try, I excel at very, very quickly. I excelled at personal training, at coaching, at DJing, at speaking, Muay Thai. Anyway, so I decided to do it just for myself. And by the age of 25, 26, I'd learned so much. I'd studied so much. I'd been able to share so much with so many people that I said, man, imagine if I could do this for the rest of my life. Figure out how to get life right, decision by decision. And every time I found what worked for me, I can share it with other people. So I've been doing that ever since. I've written 10 books. I've got books on Amazon. I've spoken in 24 countries. I've worked with some of the biggest speakers and coaches in the world. I've invested over $500,000 in my own education. And none of this is fake. It's real. You can go Google me, go ChatGPT me, whatever. I've been around a long time. I've been on a lot of stages. I've done some amazing things. I've done ultra marathons, Ironman triathlons, professional fighting in stadiums in Thailand, also professional Thai boxing events in London. I mean, my book's on Amazon, like I said. So it's not some bullshit pitch. It is my life. It is the life that I created. And saying that, at the age of, I always forget, 37, I was doing something that I love to do, living in the UK, being successful, Mercedes-Benz, 5-bedroom house, living in the country in England, married to a blonde, beautiful wife. Once again, like DJing, looking successful on the outside. But what I didn't know was that I was disconnected from myself once again. And what it took was something to happen for me, not to me, when I was cycling across the UK from John O'Groats to Land's End, the north of the United Kingdom to the south. I was raising money for charity with a friend / client of mine, Callum. And on the 8th day, I was hit head on by a drunk, 4 times over the limit, drunk driver in a hit and run collision, flown over the car, legs, body smashed to pieces, wedged between a tree and a barrier, and lucky to be alive. 2 weeks in intensive care, 2 months in hospital, 6 months on crutches. This left me a lot of time to reflect. And, I could really go deep into the story, but now's not the time. But in this time of reflection, I asked myself, if this happened for me, where was the lesson? If this happened for me, if this wasn't an accident but a collision, if this needed to happen, what did I need to learn in this experience? And I started to reflect on the fact that I was 37 years old and, no, hang on, 37. Yeah, 37. It's been 7 years now whilst recording this video. And I thought, man, I'm not living my life 100% for me. I've always wanted to take care of the people that I love. And I realized that I was living my wife's life by her friends, her lifestyle, living by her parents. It was the perfect life. It wasn't perfect marriage, but it was the perfect life. It looked like it. And I realized, man, I love Thailand. I love Muay Thai. I love walking around in board shorts, flip-flops. I love the culture of Thailand. I love the energy of Thailand. I love the culture and the energy of Dubai. What am I doing living in the UK? And I realized that I'd become successful on the outside and busy, looking successful, but I'd become deeply disconnected from myself. And I went on a journey. I went on a journey of reconnecting with myself. And I've been coaching and mentoring and speaking for many years. So I knew what to do. And actually, when the accident happened to me, a few people joked, close friends of mine, said that, man, when we heard what happened to you, we felt sorry for you, obviously. I had to be back together again. I don't have any memory of the accident. I have amnesia. I kind of came to after about 2 weeks or just under 2 weeks. But a few of my friends said, man, we were so shocked and unhappy, obviously, that this happened to you. But they said, if anyone's going to turn this into an inspirational story, it's you. And they're right, because we create our own meaning for life. Anything I've been through, anything that I'm going through, I never feel like a victim. I always am like, what's the teacher here? What's the lesson here? And I needed to go through that experience because I needed to come home to myself. It's very easy to get lost in success, in the pursuit of success, to get lost in high performance, to get lost in achievement. And I had done that. I wasn't suffering, but I wasn't aligned. I wasn't at peace. I was still going after the next goal. And still going after the next goal can be healthy. But what happens when they're not your goals anymore and they're someone else's goal? To go 7 years into the future from that collision, now I don't really have any goals other than now being a partner of the greatest opportunity, the business, which is the greatest opportunity of my life. Really, my only goals are be as fit as I can and healthy as I can, spend as much time with my family, and be the best role model to my kids and my wife, and save some money to build not passive investments, like cash businesses. We just bought a nail salon and a barber and just slowed maybe a property, but not even like a business focus. I've done business for so many years. To be honest, business doesn't interest me. I've always wanted to inspire people, to influence, to impact, to wake people up, to show people what's possible, to help the underdog, to help the person that's down and show them how they can get back up, to inspire people to go after their greatest potential. That's always been my focus, my goal, my intention. My first ever hero was Sir Nelson Mandela, the late president of South Africa, my country. And he just was very, very good at inspiring people. He didn't think like in terms of a business person. He thought in terms of a leader, like I want to create change in the world. And that's always what I've wanted. But I was never really obsessed with like business activities. No, I was never obsessed with business activities, never even driven by business activities. And that's why I think I've always had an assistant. Since I was a personal trainer, oh my goodness, 27, 28 years old, I've had an assistant. Since then, I must have been the only personal trainer in the gym with a full-time personal assistant. It's because I just wanted to focus on inspiring people and helping people change their lives for the better. I didn't want to be consumed with the business stuff. So anyway, my goals today are just be with my family, be as healthy and fit as possible, be a role model to my kids and my wife and my family and anyone that wants to watch or listen, and to build some cash businesses over the years. Sawadee Krap Crew. So that's where I'm at today. Let me tell you quickly about this partnership. You okay? Oh. So I need to rewind a little bit to explain to you why I'm here. My greatest passion is Muay Thai. You can see it on my arm. You can't see on my leg. I have a Muay Thai tattoo. I have a Muay Thai tattoo over here. I have Thai tattoos. I'm just Thailand, Muay Thai, Thai boxing, martial arts. Martial arts was the first sport I ever did when I was 7 years old. I then did karate, but unfortunately, we didn't have the money to be able to do these kind of sports, because after you come for your first or second or third trial, you need to buy all the equipment. And my mother couldn't do that. So I trialed judo. My mom couldn't pay for the classes. I trialed karate. My mom couldn't pay for the classes. And it took me until my 20s to find Muay Thai, Thai boxing in a gym in London. Actually, I'll tell you a funny story. One of the biggest fight promotions in Muay Thai is called MTGP, Muay Thai Grand Prix. And I actually started that Muay Thai Grand Prix with the very first one ever run with now still the owner of MTGP, Philip Tu. And we ran our first ever Muay Thai event together. We ran it in the Ministry of Sound. But it was a lot of work, and Phil had this big vision for it. I didn't. And literally by the second event, we had gone our separate ways. And he said, I'm going to run it on my own. But the first ever MTGP show, I was one of the people that created that event. So that's pretty cool, because now it's absolutely massive. And congrats to Team 2 and Philip and everyone that's involved in that. It's just so inspiring to see it for what it is today. So Muay Thai has always been a part of my life, and I journal a lot. I tell my clients to journal a lot. If you had all the money in the world, all the time in the world, if you knew you couldn't fail, if you could only do the one thing that makes you come alive, if you never had to get paid ever again in your life, lots of different questions like this to find out what do you really want to do with your life. It's always been inspire people and be an athlete. And then I took this journey of being hit by the hit and run driver, realized that the life in the UK wasn't for me anymore, moved to Dubai, attempted to move to Dubai, but then because of COVID, I thought Thailand was just closed. And then the day I saw on Facebook, I was skiing in Austria with a friend of mine, and I saw the Facebook post saying, Thailand borders are now open. I was lying on the bed in the chalet, and I knew in that moment, that is where I'm going to live for the rest of my life. And honestly, when I realized in that moment, I was getting divorced, I'd separated from my partner, I'd moved all my stuff, I gave her there was a rental, but I gave her the house, I left the car, I left the furniture, everything. And I just packed my bags and I was moving to Dubai. And then I saw that post and I was like, why would I live in Dubai when I can live in Thailand? I've been going there for 15 years. I've been running retreats there. I've probably ran 21, 22 retreats in Thailand where I get people to come here for 7 days and experience what this place has given me over the years and curate and create the best transformational experience for them. I love Muay Thai. I love Thai people. I love Thai food, everything. The weather is approximately 30 degrees every day of the year. When I thought, oh my God, I can move to Thailand. Honestly, it was honestly like my life was just starting, because because of that collision with the car, I was no longer going to compromise. I was no longer going to settle. I knew now more than ever before that life was so short, and I'm going to live the life that I want, not the life that someone else wants, and I'll fit into that picture or that puzzle, or the life that other people expect me to have. No, I'm going to live my life, and I made dramatic changes to my life. But moving to Thailand was one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. Oh, and it came with challenges and costs and consequences. But was it worth it? Absolutely. Because the place that I first came to many years ago when finding Muay Thai, Thai boxing in London, where I came here for a holiday, and I was so transformed by the experience that on the flight back to the UK, I almost had a tear from my eye. I was like, how could a place like this exist? With this food, this culture, this level of happiness and peace and presence, and the sport of Muay Thai, and the beautiful beaches and the weather and the hikes and the running, and the list goes on and on and on. To now be able to live here, honestly, it's the only place ever in my life where I still today, I've lived here for over 4 years, and every single morning, including this morning, as soon as I get on the road to run, on my bicycle, on a motorbike, or in my car, when I look up at the sky, I always say thank you. And I always feel this deep, deep gratitude for living here. And it's not bullshit, it's just the truth. I'm so grateful to live here. So now I've moved to Thailand and I'm starting to get settled. And I'm having to start my life over again. I'm single, then I got into a relationship, then I had my first child, my daughter. My son is hopefully going to be born very soon. And I tried this, I tried that, I tried a cafe, I tried a restaurant, coffee shop. I tried some different changes in my business, but I kept journaling on that question or those questions. What would I do if I had all the money in the world, if I didn't need to work for money? What would I do if I could only do the thing that makes me come most alive? What would I do if I had all the time in the world? What would I do if I had to dedicate myself to one thing? What's the one thing that makes me come more alive than anything else? What's the thing I'm more passionate about? And the journaling question always came back to Muay Thai, fighter, sports, fitness, inspire people. And I just kept failing over and over and over again, but I just kept the vision in mind. A man without a vision perishes. And I just kept, in the midst of my challenges and struggles, I just kept the vision. And then, I'm going to keep this very short, an opportunity presented itself to me where I was able to become a partner of a gym that has a vision to be one of the best environments and facilities in Phuket, that was looking for a leader that wants to grow the business around Muay Thai and sport and fitness and inspiring people. And I was like, hang on, I've been coaching and mentoring leaders in business for 20 years. I've been working with leadership teams. I've been working with staff, everything from sales staff to general admin staff. I've had my own team that I've led and different members in my team for years. My whole life has been about Muay Thai. My whole life has been about sport. I've been a fighter. I've got Muay Thai tattooed everywhere. And it's in Thailand. I was like, honestly, a conversation led to a meeting led to a board meeting with the rest of the partners. I became a business partner, and then I was due to start a month later, which was 2 weeks ago. And every day I just pinched myself. Is this real? 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 And now every day I'm literally living my dream. My life is surrounded by Muay Thai. I am immersed in Muay Thai. I get to spend time with professional fighters, trainers every day, like one of the trainers that just came into my office. I'm just so freaking grateful. I'm so connected to the person I really am. I wear what I want, do what I want, come and go as I want. I have total freedom. I am living in my true nature. Singing like birds sing, not caring about who's watching or who's listening. I don't care. I'm living my dream. And for that reason, I have this insane renewed abundance of energy and confidence and certainty and clarity. And I'm now able to put it into not just helping others, but I used to help others through my name. I was the brand for 20 years. And now I get to represent a brand way bigger than me. You know, we are Phuket Shalong Muay Thai. We have Muay Thai, MMA, fitness. Also, we own the biggest boxing stadium on the island, where I had my first ever professional fight, where I had my last ever professional fight, and I won this stadium bout. You can't buy these online. This was won in Bangla Stadium. You see that? Bangla Stadium. Now I'm one of the partners that owns the stadium and the gym connected to the stadium. And I'm just inspired every day, and it's the reason why I wanted to make this video for you. It's been a journey. Let me just turn my alarm off because it's going to keep going off. I have no idea what the alarm is even for. It has been a journey. It has been a journey. But as a speaker, a coach, a mentor, what I'm very good at is creating frameworks. So I thought I would do a video sharing where I am now, sharing a bit about Phuket, Shillong, Muay Thai, but also sharing if you feel disconnected, if you feel out of alignment, sharing with you how you can go from disconnection to totally connected. Right? First of all, I call it the 5 Cs. Okay, first of all, it's your condition. This is your physical condition. If you are not attached or connected to your physical condition, how are you ever going to feel like you're living your full potential? Now, by the way, connected, what does connected mean? If you feel connected, what does it mean? You feel fulfilled? Maybe if you're connected to yourself, you feel happiness, you feel peace, you feel joy, maybe you feel powerful. But what else? If you felt connected to yourself, you'd be present. Right? And if you're going to feel fulfilled, happy, peaceful, joyful, powerful, present, if you're going to be connected to yourself, means to be connected to your energy. If you're going to have these things, how are you ever going to have that if you're not if you're not connected to your physical condition? This is why when we train people in the gym, when we train people at Phuket, Shillong, Muay Thai, when I train myself, when I train my clients, when my wife has just walked into my office, hello baby, when she's training, she's connecting to herself. Right? The greatest relationship, the most important relationship you will ever have in your life is the one with yourself. Could you do me a favor? Could you close the door? Thank you so much. You need to be connected to yourself. You're never going to feel these things if you don't have a relationship with your body. So that's number 1. Number 2 is you need clarity. Right? I kind of touched on it before. What do you actually want? What do you really want? Are you living your life or are you living someone else's life? Do you know what your highest values are? Because a life inside with your values is a life of all of these things. A life outside of your values is a life missing all of these things. When you're living someone else's values, someone else's truth, someone else's life, you don't have fulfillment, happiness, peace, joy, presence. You're always trying to chase the next goal because where you're at doesn't even make you happy. You're like, why am I here? Why am I successful, but I don't feel like I should feel? It's because you're not living your life. You don't have clarity around what it is that you actually want. You know, what do you actually want? And then number 3, why do you want it? What's your calling? I told you numerous times throughout this video that I just wanted to be in fitness and sport and inspire people. Why? Because I was inspired by Nelson Mandela growing up. And one of his great quotes was, sport has the ability to change the world. It has the ability to connect people in ways that not much else does. And I'm paraphrasing, but I remember that quote, sport has the ability to change the world. And I just remember that for many, many years, but also my father was disconnected from himself. He was disconnected from his body and his health and his fitness. His health and fitness didn't exist. He was disconnected from clarity. He just kept going after one goal, because he wanted to look successful to everyone else. Women, men, younger, older. He wanted to impress us. My parents were divorced. He wanted to impress us, so he just kept achieving and achieving. But at the end of every achievement, he kept feeling more disconnected, and then he kept being more unhappy because they weren't his goals. They were goals that he was going after because he thought this will make him happy. Your happiness doesn't come from the goal. Your goals should be set from happiness first. So, happiness first. Why are you here? Why are you in your job? Why are you in your business? Why are you a fighter? If you're a fighter and you're watching this, why do you fight? Maybe beginning of last week, 2 of my fighters were in the gym and they were in the boxing ring just doing some light sparring. And I looked at their faces and I thought, you guys look so serious. So I called them over between rounds and I said, long story made very short, I said, remember why you do this. Remember why you do this. You're disconnected from your purpose. You're disconnected from your why. So you're disconnected from yourself. Even whilst you're here, it looks like you don't even want to be here. And then on that third round, they were like, oi, 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 because they remembered why they were doing it. They remembered that they wanted to fight for themselves. They wanted to create a better life for themselves. They wanted to fight for their family, etc., etc. So what is your calling? Your calling is your heart, your spirit, your purpose, your big why. A man without a vision perishes, and also a man and woman without purpose perishes, because if you don't have purpose in your life, you don't have passion. And if you don't have passion, you don't have life force, vitality, energy. You only have existence. If you don't have purpose and you don't have a strong why, you lack energy. You lack power. You lack joy and peace because you don't even know why you're still doing the same thing that you keep doing. You're on a highway heading to a destination that you're not even sure you want to head to. So that's number 3. Number 4 is you need community. When I went on my journey of self-discovery and recovery after the collision, it took me to the Shaolin Temple to study with the master, the Shaolin master, Shi Hongyi. It took me to Vipassana meditation. It took me to plant medicine. It took me to, silent retreats. It took me to festivals where I was not like music festivals, like not plant medicine, spiritual festivals. It took me to get around different people so I could start thinking in different ways. And by eventually taking it so far that I actually ended up ordaining as a Buddhist monk, I completely had a different perspective on my life and what mattered. And what mattered to me more than anything in the world was this: peace. I realized that actually the greatest success in the world is peace. When you know you are at peace in the morning, at night, when you know you're at peace with your decisions, when you know you're at peace with your mistakes, when you know you're at peace with where you're heading, that's when you feel really successful, because you feel so peaceful. You don't want to be anyone else. You're not wishing, you don't want to be anyone else. You don't want to be anywhere else. You're not wishing your life away. You love your life as it is. And so I was doing all this work around getting around different people so I could start to change my life. I found a Buddhist monk in Thailand, had a couple of sessions with him. And then I said, man, I'm moving to Thailand. I'd love to come spend some time there. And he said, you can actually go through a program where you fully immerse yourself in Buddhism and you actually train to be a Buddhist monk. And if you know me, you know I love immersion, you know I love challenges. So I said, absolutely, let me do that. Let me study to be a Buddhist monk. And I went to North Thailand, trained and ordained to be a Buddhist monk. Great experience. Not for me. I mean, being a Buddhist monk, I love life too much. I love adventure, exploration, singing. There's a lot of things you can't do as a monk, but I definitely enjoyed my time there. But getting around the right people, and I became friends with the brother monks. Some of them came to my house for the next couple of years since I ordained, which was 3 years ago. And then lastly, what you need is this. If you want to go from disconnected to connected, rather, you need culture. Culture is like it's the environment that you're in that brainwashes you, right? So why does racism exist? Because of culture. Why do certain races believe certain things that other races don't, or certain nationals believe things that other people don't? Because of their culture. Why do certain people in Thailand, in the UK, in South Africa, you eat with a knife and fork? In Thailand, you eat with a fork and spoon. You'll never see a knife on a plate or on a table because of their culture. You don't touch Thai, well, you're not supposed to touch Thai people on their shoulders because of culture. And the list goes on and on. You get what I'm saying here. But the culture is the environment that you're in that brainwashes you. And I knew, no disrespect to anyone living in the UK, I knew that the culture in the UK wasn't aligned to the person that I knew I really was. And I wanted to reconnect to who I really was. So I wanted to change the culture that I was in. One, I first thought Dubai because old habits die hard. And as I just explained previously, I've been very good at chasing success and achieving goals since starting to work at the age of 10. So I thought I wanted to move to Dubai. But then what happened was when the doors opened for Thailand, I realized that actually the greatest culture for me in the world was the place where everything that I love exists. And that's Thailand. And this is how you've come home to yourself. If you feel like you're disconnected from yourself, if you feel like you've lost yourself in the pursuit of your goals, or you've gone after a career and you've been so obsessed with it that you've actually forgotten who you are. You know, I say to my clients often, remember who the fuck you are. Who are you really? Do you know who you really are? If not, do work on clarity. If you're like, oh, JP, this is easy for you to say, you looked all pumped up and full of energy. I just don't have the energy for that. Well, then work on your condition. Start moving more. Start eating less. Start eating better. Go for a run. Go for a walk. Watch this, right? If you feel disconnected from yourself and you want to feel more connected, so remember, it's not about the connection. It's about more fulfillment, happiness, peace, joy, power, personal power, presence, and energy. Energy. What's the one thing you need to achieve more of anything in your life? Energy. Just do this. Go for a walk. Go for a run. Go for a hike. Just get outside and move. Watch what happens. No person ever in the history of my life has ever said after doing movement that I feel more disconnected from myself. Ever. So if you're feeling disconnected from yourself, go there. Move. Exercise. Number 2, work on yourself. Self-enrichment, self-help, self-improvement, personal development, whatever you want to call it. Use ChatGPT. Get into a community. Get into a mastermind. Get a coach. Get a mentor. Whatever. Just start asking yourself some really good questions. Assess what's working and what's not working. And then adjust. Make the adjustments to your life. Number 3, find your power by digging into what your purpose is. It's not something that you go find on the outside. Your purpose is here. Connect to your spirit, connect to your heart, maybe do some sound healing, maybe do some meditation, some yoga, some nature walks. Once again, nature is one of our greatest teachers and healers. Connect to your heart. And remember who you are. Remember why you started what you're doing. Or maybe go in a new direction, because by looking at this, you realize what you're doing isn't even in alignment with why you thought you were put on this earth. Number 4, get around the right fucking people. Change. I hate this saying because I don't hate it, but this saying is said so much. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. But this is so important. Because everyone in your life is either a radiator giving you heat and energy, or a drain taking your energy away. Draining you of your energy. Everyone. Notice who are the radiators who give you energy, and notice who takes your energy away. Get more of those people that give you energy. Get rid of the people that take your energy. Life is too short. Trust me. I almost died. I pretty much did die. I was as close to dying as possible. Change your community. And then number 5 is culture. get brainwashed into the right culture. Now, this is what I have been facilitating for over 10 years in Thailand. And it's my 7-day retreats where I get people to move every day, where we do coaching and mentoring every day with me, where we focus on calling, purpose, spirit, connecting to heart, sound healing, meditation, journaling, things that get you to really understand what is it that I want to do with my life and why. And then taking that back home and adjusting, putting it into action. Putting you in a group of like-minded and like-hearted people on these retreats. The most I've ever had is 27, but on average, I usually have like 10 to 15 people on a retreat because we have classes and minivans and all that stuff. I don't like if you have too much, people go off into little cliques. I like everyone to be together. And 7 days together with the right people, and even if I do say so myself, people always say, man, there's such good people here. And they stay friends for life afterwards in WhatsApp groups, and they meet up if they're in the same country. And then number 5, culture. I don't have to say anything on this. Just be in Thailand with the right thoughts, the right people, the right habits, the right work, the right movement, the right activities, the right fitness. You do that for 7 days, and the result is this. The result is this. You no longer feel disconnected from yourself. You feel reconnected to yourself, and you leave the retreat after 7 days with more fulfillment, happiness, peace, joy, power, presence, and energy. That's why I create the retreats. It's not a Muay Thai retreat. It's not a fitness retreat. We do Muay Thai. All levels welcome. Even if you've never done it before. I've had someone in their 70s coming on my retreat. Twice, actually. 3, 4, 5 people, maybe 6 people in their 60s. I've had a kid as young as 18. It doesn't matter where you are. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. But you leave with all of these things. It's not a fitness retreat. We do fitness because it's connecting you to yourself and your condition. It's improving your condition. It's not a coaching retreat, but we do coaching and mentoring because it's one of the things that help you to reconnect with yourself. It's not a spiritual retreat, but we do spiritual work to help you get reconnected to yourself. It's not a paid holiday where you hang out with people, but we do help you connect to a community of like-minded people so that you become more reconnected to yourself. And it's not some, tourist package holiday where you're seeing lots of the most amazing things in Thailand, but we do some of those things to help you to become reconnected to yourself. That's not the goal. Fitness is not the goal. Running is not the goal. Those are all vehicles for you to come home. So if you've watched up until this point and you feel like you would like to come in November, it's November 15th to the 21st. 15th to the 21st of November. It should be a Sunday to a Saturday. 7 days in Thailand with me, working out of Phuket Shillong Muay Thai. We got lots of things. I don't want to sell you the activities because that's just a bonus. But we do have beach club dinner. We do have a private boat trip visiting neighboring islands. That's not why you're coming. That's a bonus. You're coming for this to get this. So if you feel like you've been a little bit lost or stuck or frustrated, and you feel like you want to build a better relationship with yourself, build a deeper connection with yourself and come home to yourself, then this is your opportunity. Message me and I'll send you the information. It's $2,000 for the retreat. There's no discounts. It is what it is. There's no fancy, if you pay now, you'll get this, and there's 7 bonuses. I've ran this for over 10 years. I know it's worth way more than $2,000. But $2,000, I think, is a good fair exchange. It's a fair value exchange for what you're getting so that you leave totally overwhelmed and grateful. My goal, a win for me, is a win for you. If you leave feeling that this was one of the best things I've ever done in my life, and that has been said to me many, many times over. many times. I could not remember. I have testimonials coming out of my ears. If you say that to me, that this is one of the best things I've ever done in my life, that for me is the biggest win that I can receive. And this is my first time ever, like I shared before, I've had a career, international global career that I've built up over the last 20 years under my name. And this is my first time ever taking my retreat and partnering with Phuket Shillong Muay Thai. I cannot wait for November. We've already had a few sign-ups from people in Australia and the UK, and I really hope that you will join us. Peace.